Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. Today is a daily color. I am working on I have it all lined up so that we can see the whole page. So we have 6 mandalas. Looks like a couple of aquatic theme ones, some floral, and then actually 4 floral and 2 aquatic. So I've looked at my rotation sheet. I already moved the woomer in place of the Berol Prismacolor, moved Berol Prismacolor down, and I just noticed something as I was trying to come up with a game plan. The Berol Prismacolor and the Prismacolor is the next one below it. And I am not a Prismacolor girl, so I've not colored enough to know immediately if the Berol 1986 Prismacolors are exactly like the current ones. So I thought it would be fun to dedicate this page to both of those. So I'm going to go vertically, and the left side will be the 1986 version of Prismacolors that I own 51 of. And then I will do that today. And then on the right, I will do the current day Prismacolors, of which I have all 150. So I thought that would be fun. We will start right off the bat with the upper left. So I will get us set up. Today was a great outside day for me. I worked on my garden. I hope I have sufficiently cleaned my fingers. I do oftentimes craft or card make, because I do that all the time, and then I'll get inky fingers, and sometimes I will film and freak out if I see a little bit of dirty fingers. But here I am, having cleaned them the best I can, and they were filthy. I tried to keep gloves on, but you know, you take them off for certain things. So my backyard now is filled with all of the plants, potted plants. I'd been collecting them up, and they'd been in the front all winter, and I knew that by spring I wanted to move them. So that is what I did today with Hub's help. I have a 1986, which is the Berol Prismacolor at the top, and a current modern day Prismacolor down below. My set of Prismacolors I did buy brand new in 2021. So that's what the bottom one is from. And the cores on the Berol, on this particular one, I noticed right away that the current one is not centered and the Berol is centered. I have not checked all of my Berols. Another thing, just as a side note, I went ahead and put the woomer up on my economical budget pencil row shelf. The Berols are up there, and I have 0 space left. It is 100% at capacity. So I'm looking here at my big case for my Prisma 150 that used to have the Crayola 100s in it. And I have plenty of room to add the Berols. So I think I'm going to reclaim the Berols. They aren't even what I would consider budget when compared to the other budget prices of pencils that I have up above. My Prismacolors actually live in a secondary space with I put them with my wet medium pencils. Okay, so that's the comparison of the two, and those are the 2 sets I will be using. And I will be jotting notes here on the side, my copy sheet, to try to figure out between the two what the differences are, if any. And oh, now I can go back down close. So I hope everybody is having a great week. I have 2 videos kind of queued up to work on, and I have a haul video from March, and I really felt like coloring. I haven't colored. I did the Woomer video on Monday, so I have not colored for most of the week. I am starting with Indigo 901 on these little teardrop flowers that I just always make them blue or purple. I don't think I've ever made. I might have to go through this book. Oh, the fun things I get to do with this book once it's full. I could flip through it and see if I've ever colored these drop flowers in any other color than purple or blue. So these should be fairly quick to color. I did, Hub worked on the trail today while I was doing my exercise. I do, Fridays is Zumba at 9 and the pool at 10. The Friday pool, every day is different in the pool, and Friday is the hard day. We do HIIT, H-I-I-T, high intensity interval training. There are people of all ages in the pool, so everybody can modify as they need to. I'm switching now to 904 light blue. And I had been feeling the sense of urgency to get all of the plants relocated to the back. Our back from when we moved in was pretty much just a bed of rocks in it has a curbing, so you have a very clear demarcation of what your space is, and then on the left we have a water spigot and hose that sits in a box and a palm tree in front of it. Why somebody had to put a palm tree in our rocks, I don't know, but I'm sure back in the day that was the thing to do. So, as I think starting late last summer, Hub put in the bird feeder on a pole so that the squirrels couldn't get to it. Sometime later, he made a bird bath that kind of coordinates with it, and it's, maybe 4 feet away. The birds hop back and forth. We made the bird feeder very tall so that the birds can hop back and forth from the water to the food. And then sometime after that, my mom asked me if I wanted her water fountain feature from the backyard of the house. It came with her house. And it's just a very simple design, sort of Asian, Japanese-ish looking. So we moved that into the backyard. And that's when I could see what we could do aesthetically to fix up our backyard. And in the front, I had been collecting plants and pots and then dirt. And today was get all of the plants planted, moved around. Some have grown. I've had them for a couple of years, and they've grown to the point where they need to be transplanted into bigger pots. I'm going to switch to green now. I have 5 greens today. This is it's the color green. It is the lightest one. I'm surprised. 913. And so I didn't know that Hub was going to be ready to do this today. This is my 4th day of exercise for the week, so I was pretty pooped. But I had told him that with that fountain now in place, I felt that I had enough pots and plants that we could get the back fixed up. And Hub has always wanted the front to be more simple and kind of have the back be like the tropical oasis. So that's what we did today. It took a few hours, and we have Lucky, and so he got to be out for some of it. He's harness trained now, and he does really well. So we had to tag team Lucky with the whole plants and potting and moving everything around. He has the muscle. So I'm really glad to have that done. Hub is now taking his nap. And it was not, the other thing is, it has been really hot. And it was only, I think, 83. The 2 days in a row, it was over almost, I think it was 89 yesterday and 90 the day before. So I was definitely feeling like, okay, if it's going to be getting hot, I should get the back fixed up, get all the plants moved. And I also have a chair back there now that Lucky is harness trained. I like to go out back. So does Hub. Hub likes to bring the cat when he's doing the bird seed. He even ties Lucky to the door. That's how good he is. He's such a good kitten. He ties him to the door, and Lucky will just hang out there, chilling, and watch the goings-on. And he definitely now, at first it wasn't apparent whether he cared about being outside or not. I'm switching to a slightly darker green, Apple Green 912. These are a really soft, easy pencil to use. Maybe I have matured in my coloring journey because I used to just be very intimidated by Prismacolors and feel that they were very crayon-like, and I don't really feel that way about them anymore. So Lucky has gotten good enough that you can kind of trust him to hang out and not freak. He won't freak out anymore. He cries to come outside. The minute Hub, and this all happened while I was gone, Hub took him out multiple times a day while I was traveling. So that was like when the magic happened. And though I was the one who harness trained him, we bought the harness specifically for when I was gone. So I worked with him for a few days, and he was never intimidated about it. He's very confident about things, and you can put things on him and he doesn't care. He takes medicine and doesn't care. So that part was easy. And then Hub did the part of getting him outside and used to the outside and confident. So now he is kind of a good little kitty to take out and just hang out with you. And if you don't, he will cry and cry, and if he sees you, he's just, the world is ending, how dare you go outside without him. And that, I blame Hub for that. He taught him that. All right, so now we're going to move on to a darker green. I wasn't going to use that for that, this one. Dark green 908. So if you have cats and you've never thought about harness training them, I have taught my cats, I always get kittens, 2 things that they must do that actually Lucky doesn't do. The second thing, I need them to be able to be bathed regularly. And since Lucky was sick when we got him, I didn't feel comfortable exposing him to water, and he also was Russian blue kittens are not typically water type cats, so I have worked very hard to get him comfortable with water. He is absolutely not scared. I can even run the hose when I was watering out front. I'll take him out front with me, and he will hang out on the ground, and I can water the plants, and water does not intimidate him, either in the sink or outside. So that I had to work on, so I'm almost there with the water. And harness training. I've always harness trained my cats. Some did better than others. He is a very confident walker. At first, all he did was lay down and flop, which is the typical cat thing to do. Our Maine Coon was probably the best at being leash trained, but he didn't really like to go places or do things, where Lucky so far has had very good experiences outside around the house and cries to come out with us and wants to be with us. Leonidas was a very mellow, big guy, and he just did not care. When he went outside, all he wanted to do was go on the walk, because we took him camping with us, and he would go on trails, and he would always walk with a purpose, and I felt like he just wanted to get to the destination, get to the camper, so he could go back inside the camper and chill. And that is the way he was. All right, I'm going back to the lightest, and I probably forgot to tell you that was dark green. And then I'm going back to this lightest green for these. And then I'll add a little bit of a darker green. So that was today. And now the backyard is full of plants, which is fun. I did get a little too much sun. I already had been in the pool 4 days this week, and then this afternoon, though it's semi-shaded in the back. We were pretty much all over the yard today for many hours. And I was so looking forward to videoing, I decided between the two that I would rather color than do the unboxing. So I'll do that next. All right, the next thing to do is the flower. And I had one more yellow floating around here. There it is. The center is going to be orange. I have 3 fun oranges. I'll just grab the middle one. So we'll have vermilion red be the shaded part. We'll have the shadow be at the bottom. And then orange 918. And then I have yellow orange 917. This will be a daisy. So these work very nice. What do they feel the most like? Not thinking of Prismacolor. Maybe a little softer than, say, Artex. Not as soft as Holbein. Holbein are pretty soft, although the Holbein feel a little bit on the stickier side, more like the Derwent Lightfast. These are more buttery than Holbein. These have a very opaque light. With any of the light colors are very opaque, so they will turn your coloring lines to like a gray, and if you don't like that, you kind of need to be careful about how you cover over the top of the black lines with your light colors. All right, that one's done. So let's move on down to this fun one. And it has hearts. So that one, the hearts immediately beg to be colored. And I have, here they are. I have a few reds out. This is Crimson Red, 924. There's only 2 hearts. I thought I would try to do the vertical color family change from yellow, orange, red, purple, blue, green, but I've done that on a couple of pages now, and I thought, nope, I'm going to let each of these mandalas stand on their own, and I'm just going to color them how I feel like coloring them. So that is what I am doing. I need to move that out of the way so I don't accidentally use the new Prisma. Okay, so for this next area, Tuscan Red, is that Tuscan or Tucson? Tucson Red, 937. I noticed when I was out back working that the birds and the squirrels, certain birds and squirrels, because I was over on the pretty far away from them, but I was crashing around, and we had the golf cart there and making a mess, and there was a dove and a squirrel that just didn't care, and Lucky was even there, and Hub had to tell him a couple times to stop tormenting the squirrel. He's around them all the time, but through the window. I think he would like to hunt the birds, but it doesn't seem like he cares to hunt the squirrels. I'm not really sure the relationship and how a cat thinks about a squirrel. I should probably see if somebody like a Jackson Galaxy has done a video on that. So these little flourishes are unique to this particular image, where the upper image just stuck with being traditional a flower mandala. This has these the hearts and the flourishes. So I'm not doing any backgrounds. I did sharpen these some. I see a little bit of white here. These are very soft, so they lose their tips. The woomers are quite soft. That actually is another pencil that feels very much like these, or these feel like the woomer. The barrel of these is, I would call it a satin finish. The Prismas are also satin, so they aren't a high gloss. So they do not feel like you're holding like a polychromos. It has its own unique feel. And you already saw that the end is not dipped. Okay, so those two little elements are done. Now we can get on to the greens, which are going to be, I'm starting with the lightest green, 913, and then I'll pop back in with apple green. And then I even have, nope, I think that I decided that I was going to do peacock green, because this is a blue-green. And I was going to use apple green, not the green. It's weird that the green is lighter than apple green. So let's see if I can get all of these little bits. When I started this today, I realized that I had missed on the triangle and diamond page, where I used 10-mit glitter gel pens and then did the stem work and the little bling bits with the Languo. I finally remembered to fill in the couple of stems that I missed on one. So that is 100% done. I never realized, how did I miss that when I was videoing? And it was right there. Then when I go through the video, I see it, and yep, there it is, and I just zoomed right past it. Alright, I think the little water droplets are going to be this blue color, which I might not have shared the color with you. That color is light blue 904. I don't have an aqua blue, or I would have used that. Oh, and look, I did green on that side. I might just leave it that way. I sometimes like to leave little Easter eggs. Inconsistencies are okay in my book. All right, and now I said I was going to use peacock blue, or sorry, peacock green 907 for the little darks of the greenery. Oh, I won't do that one. the little blue-green bright pop of green color. Then I have to do the double leaf here. Back to apple green. And now I have the flowers, and I'm going to do pink on the flowers. I have two pinks. I have blush 928 and pink 929. Oh, I see a couple of greens I missed. See, I don't know how I do that. So this is the dark color, which is called pink. Before I do the blush, I'm going to grab the apple green. I have not decided. Even on my copy, I did one leaf one way and the other leaf the other way, and I am still torn. All right, I know what I'm going to do. So before I do the pink, I am going, oh, and I forgot that. Let's get a little bit of a dark. All right, so here's what I want to do. I did one light and I did one dark, and I didn't like either, so I'm going to do an ombre light to dark, because that just seems like the next best option. And I am going to go darker. This is the peacock green, which is going to be my middle green. Okay, and I will finish it off with the dark green, which is in my hand, 908. Yep, I like that better than my sample options. All right, I even missed one dark pink. And now I'm using blush 928. I am not going to color the whole flower. I like to leave the tips on these little flowers white. It's just an easy way to add a little more interest. All right, that is finished. Moving on to our third image, which is different than the other two. It still has a floral element, the center flower, but it's a very different design, and so I enjoyed coming up with a color scheme, because to me, mandalas, that's what it's all about, is the making a pattern of interesting colors. So here is what I am starting with: Tucson Red 937. And we're doing quite a bit of this Tucson Red. Every single tip is going to be Tucson Red, and so are these funny little shapes. I'm even gonna have a little red here. Okay. Even these little shapes are going to be Tucson Red. I then have Crimson Red, doing a long overlap there, kind of smooshing. And I'm not going very deep with this red because I have two more colors to do on this blend or color combo. Next, Scarlet Red. Looks orangey, 922. Nope, I'm gonna just fix this right now. I forgot the Tucson Red here. Yeah, it looks like I forgot the scarlet red, didn't it? Oh, our scarlet. I forgot the crimson red. This is the scarlet red, and it's almost orange. Okay. On to vermilion red, 921. I'm going to even grab orange 918. So this is a 5-color blend. These are really soft. The woomer, when I did my test, I was able to fill in the tooth on the Bristol vellum in one pass. These aren't quite... I feel like I need about 1.5, typically, because I'm not really the best heavy pressure colorist. And so I don't get a lot of practice at it, and I am attempting to fill in the tooth here as quickly as possible, as close to one layer or one pass as I can, and I really need to come across and then go across a little bit more to kind of smooth it out. Which is funny because I did 3 woomer projects, and the very first project I did, I was not familiar with them, and I actually had to go back through to smooth out the tooth using a blender pencil because I wanted to do it quickly and I didn't want to have to go back through with the pencils again. Okay, this is all vermilion red, just to keep everything straight. I also see a little area, scarlet red, I'm going to pop in. This needs a little better transition. Okay, I want it smoother. And now I'm going to go around with the last color, which will be orange 918. And I already did one. And I will smooth out, if we're going to be really picky, this one here needs a little smoothing. Not all of them. And that's going to be a little brighter than the others. These almost look like a feather type image. One possibility before I looked to see what the sets of pencils were that I was working with in the list, which after the Berol Prisma and then the Prisma is Kessel Arts Soft Touch, Kessel Arts Soft Touch, Crayola, and then the Albrecht Dürer. So because the 6 sets of pencils were so varied, I thought I'm just going to do something fun with this and do a nice compare and contrast to the 2 eras of Prismas. And something I have not checked, but I am assuming, is that from 1986 to today, the color numbers and likely the names have not changed on the 51 that I have. All right, so there is our fun sort of a sunset-setty blend. The flower itself is going to be similar to the top flower. I'm going to make it daisy colored, so this will be the darker yellow orange 917 and 916 canary yellow. I've done few mandalas. All of the mandala work, except for one practice Sparkle Pop mandala, have all been done in this book. And I bought my first mandala book, which is the Forest Mandalas. Can't wait to play in that. This is 916. I already said that. Canary yellow. It's not really that much different. Yeah, see, I don't even see that big of a difference between the two. I'm gonna log both of these. Yeah, boy, they're very minimal difference. I might actually pull out every Prisma, the current modern day Prisma, see if they're the same. And I did swatch these, so I have Berol Prisma swatches that I can use to do the comparison, and what I'll do is just share with you if I see any differences. Okay, the next fun color. First, let's get the center. The center is going to be, let's see, we're going to do a full range. We've got Scarlet Red. This is a pretty big center. And then we have our dots. And then I'm going to move on to Vermilion. Finish up with the orange, 918. All right, very pretty. I have in my hand already. I had grabbed the light blue 904. And then I also have indigo blue 901. And I am going to do not very much of the indigo. So let me put the indigo down. And this is just going by my copy mock-up page. And I have actually, let's do this last element here. I'm gonna see if I can do a little depth. Work here on the flower. Okay, now coming in with light blue 904. I think this is going to look very nice. Haven't checked. How are we doing for time? Hey, we're gonna finish up just in time. So depending on how tired I am after this, I may hold off on my haul video until tomorrow, or it just depends on how tired I am. I'm going to take a break and have some dinner, And then maybe I will do the haul. I really love that 3D effect. Okay, let's get the next little bit of interest here is these weird little fun, it's like Art Deco is what it feels like to me. Okay, and something that I did not do on my copy paper, a couple things now I've done on this one. A bird just hit the window. Those birds are silly. Yeah, I like that. These are pretty pencils. I see why people like them. And again, these are the old ones. Okay, and then the last little thing I want to do, let's see if I can do it right. All right, so I've got a sharp indigo blue. I did not do this on the mock-up. I'm going to stay on the inside all the way around. And then we're done. Very fun. Now, I would love to know, what do you guys think of Prismacolors? There are so many other pencil brands out there now at such a rock bottom price. But I'm still curious if people still just really swear by these. All right, there it is, all done. All right, so tomorrow we will do the left side in current day Prismacolors, and I will jot some notes and see if I feel they are the same. I will also, as homework, I will compare my swatches for these with their equivalent colors, see if the color number and name is the same, and if they are all the same. I'm curious about that as well. Oh, look, I went 49 minutes. So everybody take care. Thank you so much for joining me today. And welcome back if you are returning. Do all of the YouTube things, like, share, comment, consider subscribing. And I hope to see you all tomorrow, where we will be coloring the other half of this page with current day Prismacolors. See you then.